Currently, over a third of LGBT people don't feel able to be open about their gender identity or sexual orientation in the workplace. And that has a huge knock-on effect to their productivity at work and therefore the outputs of organisations. If everyone was free just to be themselves in the workplace, we'd have a much happier, healthier and productive society. So this year it's Stonewall's 30th birthday. We were set up in response to Section 28, which was a piece of legislation that forbade the promotion of homosexuality in schools. However, even in 2019, we're still seeing some really big issues. We have people on public platforms who are raising their voices to actually say that we shouldn't be talking to children, even letting them know that LGBT people exist, and even going as far as to talking about finding a cure for homosexuality. We need to change the hearts and minds so that kids don't get bullied at school, or people can go into the workplace and just talk about the fact they've got a same-sex partner. Or if they want to disclose that they're trans, they can do. Or if they don't want to, they don't have to. Senior leaders need to be really engaged to make sure that they are giving the messages from the top that inclusion is a vital part of the ethos of an organisation. It's really important as well to have visible role models, but just as important to have allies as part of the organisation who are actively stepping up to try and make things better for LGBT people. Organisations need to look at their policies and make sure that they're inclusive. Actually, when I came out, I found that it was okay, but only because the workplace that I was in had created an environment where I was able to be myself. And the big difference it made to me was that my productivity skyrocketed. I spent less time worrying about the gendered pronouns that I was using to describe my partner and more time focusing on the work at hand. And these are things that a lot of people take for granted, but actually it makes a huge amount of difference, because expending that energy in a positive way at work is much better than having to use that energy to hide who you are. Since then, my career's just gone from strength to strength as a result. And I know that if I wasn't able to bring my whole self to work every day, then I wouldn't be able to perform my job properly, because I'd be too worried about hiding and covering things up. It's not just the LGBT networks that need to be doing this work, it needs to be filtering through to every department, and a lot of that does come from leading from the top. We need to make sure that we're transforming those institutions so that they're inclusive practices and places so that people actually feel able to do that. So at Stonewall, we work with over 850 organisations across all different sectors. And what we find is that actually there isn't an easier or harder sector to be out as LGBT at work. It all very much depends on the organisation itself. And that's why we work closely with individual organisations to help them create those more inclusive workplaces. So when you're starting out in your career, my first piece of advice would be to actively look for an organisation to work for that you know is LGBT inclusive or working towards LGBT inclusion. And there's lots of ways of being able to tell that. One is looking out for a diversity statement on their website, or checking for the Stonewall's Diversity Champion logo. Seek out some positive role models or mentors that you can talk to and understand. But ultimately, the best way is to work for an organisation that you know values and includes you. Because if you know that you're able to bring your full self to work, you're going to be able to do yourself justice in your career.